Hello, this is J.N.S, and I'm back with another banger. And I'm really excited because this is a topic I really want to elucidate on in terms of should you channel and conjure spirits inside you? What does possession look like versus quantum entanglement? So, I want to talk about this topic because it's very controversial, very provocative, and from my personal experience with being able to channel, I want to just shed a little bit of light on not so much how to do it. I won't be talking about that, but more so like what are the implications and ramifications for doing it, under which circumstances does it work, and the likelihood of outcome in terms of a situation going awry due to um channeling or even possession. And so I want to talk about that. Um, what is this concept of channeling? And so we all pretty much know that when someone says like, "Oh, I can channel," spirits, or I can channel, it just means that they're able to talk. Um, well, rather, a person's body is able to be taken over by a spirit for the purpose of communication. That is something that has been around for a long time. Sometimes it could be telepathic channeling. So it's a form of communication with the spiritual realm. And so it involves opening yourself up to even receive messages from the spirit realm. Certain spirits more than others. Sometimes, you're consciously and intentionally seeking to channel a certain entity or spirit. It can get real deep. Now, some people, this is a natural gift. Some people, it comes to them very young. It's a part of, and it's something that's in their bloodline. It's shamanistic. It is, sometimes they're able to channel only certain entities from galactic epigenetics, or even um, their ancestral being as well. And so when we talk about like the concept of channeling, a lot of people, they go seeking to develop that skill and seeking that power that comes with that, for whatever reasons. For me, I have to say that that is something. When it comes to me, it's a natural gift. It's in my bloodline. Unfortunately, from outsiders, though, people viewed these type of things as possession, something that was sinister, it's evil. And the thing is, with women, when it comes to women in particular, it is very easy for women to channel, to be conduits and vessels for channeling, for spirit communication, because they're already a walking portal. They're the ones that usher in actual souls from their vagina into the 3D, 4D, 5D realm, however you want to look at it. But they have etheric ties to the spirit realm, women. And so that is just common knowledge. And that's a lot of times in the movies that would show you, the movies with the possession, it would always usually be women. The women would get messages, they get burnt at the motherfucking stake. And, it was it Salem witch trials. You get accused of being a witch because you've got spiritual gifts. This is the stuff that men have always been very deathly afraid of when it comes to women, and clairvoyance in general. But women, when they purport to channel whatever, it's like, oh, that's possession. Let's get her out of here. She's a witch. She's doing this. She's doing that. A lot of that is it's a gift. And so some cultures are more open to the concept of channeling, particularly cultures, shamanistic culture, even some of the some of nations and whatnot, more so than others. So thank God for that. um in my community, Black American culture, with channeling, is something clandestine. It's something that we keep very covert in our community. I notice it's like we know about hoodoo and conjure, and women, that we do have our priestesses. We always had hoodoo priestesses. We always had women that can tarot reading or channeling or whatever. We always had that. That's nothing new. However, it's something that's still a little bit underground, and maybe it should be that way. But it was always more so like, okay, these are our priestesses that's going to be out in the swamp land somewhere out by themselves. These are very women. They kind of show you in the movie, the Prince and the Frog. What was that movie with the Prince and the Frog or whatever, where they show that hoodoo conjure woman out there in the swamplands by herself in Louisiana, living off, out in nature, just all by herself. And they were coming to her for the get down. They were coming to her for work or whatnot, or for messages and for her to see and stuff. That's a real thing. That's kind of like what we've always had. Believe it or not, the Black church has always been involved in it. Well, I would say the Black church is aware of it, and what happens is Black Christians will go to us secretly, or they want to get tarot reading. Muslims come to us get tarot reading. I just find it comical. I have no judgment. I just find it comical. They come to us to get what so and so said, or they want you to do their remote viewing, or God forbid, they want to know who. It happens. It happens. It is what it is, right? But in the same breath, we get condemned. But nonetheless, channeling is something that is in my culture is it's not like if you tell someone you do mediumship or something like that. Some people are going to judge you in my community. There are some people that's going to Bible thump their way into. They're going to condemn you. And then there's a very covert way, or people secretly respect it, regardless of what religion they're in my culture, and they will most likely low key come to your ass for help. If you're the real deal, they'll find a way. And so, back to my point, women tend to be better conduits for channeling. We've seen this in ancient times, even with the oracles, Mami Wada priestesses, advisors to the kings, queen mothers. These were women that would channel. They were oracles. Usually with kings, even though the kings were priests as well, they've always had a team of women around to do the channeling, their mediumship, necromancy, ritual work, whatever it was. Kings almost always would have a couple priestesses around them. Real ones that were trained, that it's in the bloodline for generations. It's something that's this stuff that's tracked. And so these women would be, they would have that in their blood for generations, and they would know how to channel. They were considered oracles back then, or sibyls back then. But yeah, it's a real thing. And so the best outcomes, when it comes to the channeling, from what I intuitively know, is if it's a gift. And a lot of times it is a gift. It's passed down, and you don't have to do anything. You didn't have to go training for it. It's just something that happens. I have some friends that, that they didn't necessarily do channeling, but they had, they could see spirits. They were born with veils over their face. I remember being a kid and I heard a bunch of Black Americans. It was like Easter. Was it Easter? I'm trying to think. It was one of them holidays where you go and you meet up with all your families, right? And we were just enjoying like good traditional Black American food: mac and cheese, ham, fried chicken, collard greens, black eyed peas, smoked turkey neck, all that stuff. And even some of the stuff that my generation we frowned upon. We always frowned upon the chitterlings and was it the pig feast? We always was like, what the? But it's one of them events where all that was laid out. And I remember them talking about, yo, so and so was born with a veil over their face. So and so was like, oh. And then I remember hearing older Black Americans talk about stuff like that, or they'll be talking about, oh, so and so is saying they see ghosts and spirits. They see spirits, and they able to see things, and it was always kind of like, oh shoot, oh really, fascinating, but also kind of scary to them too. Oh, so and so was channeling, and so and so they went to go see that root doctor. And I remember growing up hearing stuff like that, very, very low key, And I think I was such a young girl, and I remember thinking like, what is that? Like, what does a veil over the face mean? When someone says they're born with a veil over the face, I did not know what the hell that meant. and then I remember them saying, yeah, they could see spirits and all that. So it was very interesting. And so, is it wise to conjure up, to channel and to let spirits possess you? It depends. I would say most of the times, no, because most of the time you cannot control that energy, no matter how much especially if, it's not a gift and you are intentionally going after a certain spirit for a certain outcome. So say someone is like, oh, they're working with the Goetia, and they say, you know what, I'm gonna this person, this entity or this demon rather, they is known for this. And so I'll conjure up and let this entity possess me so that I can take on their power and their energy. I personally think that's a very stupid idea. That's just me. I'm not judging it. Well, I guess technically I am. I just personally would not do that. Why? Because you do that multiple times, or you do that with different entities, you may not come back from that. Two, you may not be able to control that spirit. They can overtake you. They'll pull you outside of your consciousness because you went to them. They didn't come to you. You didn't even have that natural born gift. I'm not saying you, but you know what I mean. People who do this for like fame and fortune or for like power. It can go really, it can get really, really fucking ugly. It can get really, really, really horrific outcomes if you go seeking out that without clearance, or that the entity did not come to you, or if you're going about it in a way that's contractual, or from a pact, or from some sort of like you done conjured up, you created a circle, whatever, you conjured it up or whatever, and oh, you need to take on this demon for, you know. Me personally, I just find it odd because, one, the conditions under which they do it is usually through the modern version, which is to uh enslave these spirits to a ring, or to conjure up, but they're enslaved or trapped. What happens when they get untrapped? They're gonna beat your ass. They're gonna turn on you and beat your ass. Rightfully so. And so I have respect for the spirit world, and like, so I never understood, like, I know in Western world they have no problem enslaving jinns, enslaving entities and spirits to do their bidding and work for them, having no respect for them. They don't take any transactional things that they tell these entities, they don't take it serious, and then they conjure them and let them possess them, and to take on their power, and under conditions of not being chosen, not having that as a natural gift. And I do think that oftentimes it can. I do think that it can. Oftentimes, it's not going to end well. That's just me. I personally don't think it could end well to do that, because those energies could be very hard to control. Um, Believe it or not, as much as I talk about quantum entanglement, and people have accused me of being possessed and whatnot, and um, I've never conjured up anything or go and sought something so I can go and take some power, take an entity and control. I've never done that. Um, they've always come to me, and that's when I realized it was a gift, and it was very specific. I don't just sit up there and go and seek out and, oh, let me go work with it. Oh, this person looks cool, or this entity looks cool, or someone so said, like, you know how everybody was going all on a Oshun train because Beyonce had mentioned, was it Oshun or Yamea? The pink limit, not the pink lemonade, the lemonade album, when she talks about when she had the yellow dress on, everybody wanted to be a Oshun. Everybody was Oshun all of a sudden, and I felt that was very foolish, for people to go on. Did that entity come to you? Like, did Oshun don't just work with anybody, or just like, I just didn't understand that, and I just was like, oh, okay, whatever. And maybe that was for someone else's calling, but everybody would see something and they'd be like, oh, I'll go and see what that's about, and have no idea what that you don't know what that lady is initiated in, or what steps she has taken to even embody that energy and to take on that entity. And so people do these things, especially it's very well known in Hollywood that people take on entities and have spirits walking with them or get possessed. That's just a known thing. Like, they always talk about their altars. It's a form of monarch mentalism. It's the perverted version of it, but it is monarch mentalism. Um, that I was taught that I teach about in my book that I'm releasing. The original version of Atlantean Freemasonry. And so it's no secret that the celebrities do this. I just personally think that a lot of times it has horrific consequences, not just in the celebrity world, but even just with random people who gets the allure of power, or get the allure of, oh, I'll get these gifts if I work with this entity, and I'll let them take over, and they'll do it for me. That's why you hear, like, some people, they say they perform a song and they don't remember singing it, they don't remember nothing. or that, oh, I wrote something, I don't remember it. I wrote, and the lyrics be like immaculate. Like even like with some of my body of work, it's clearly. Some of it is like I've had people be like, "How did you come up with that?" Or who like it is a brilliant body of work. But believe it or not, I didn't conjure, or I didn't make a pact, or I didn't seek out entities to work with to possess me, to give me knowledge, or to give me anything. Believe it or not, have I done chaos magician type stuff where I wasn't well trained or initiated in certain ceremonial practices? Sure, but I can say I didn't. That was not one of them. And so there's a difference between possession and channeling and quantum entanglement. These are very different things. I look at quantum. I think channeling and quantum entanglement is two different things. I see it as two different things. Absolutely, I see possession and channeling as two different things. Sometimes with possession, you unfortunately can be used. It's very hard, believe it or not. It's actually very, very hard to get possessed. Unless you're like incredibly in a low state of consciousness or unaware. Sometimes people put spirits on you as a kid. Like if you're born into like a SRA family, which is satanic ritual abuse, sometimes that can happen. And so, in my situation, I know that I was born into, I have, it's generational bloodlines of these things in my bloodline, coming from a military priesthood, but also a family a bloodline that dabbled in the occult for aeons going back, and also a very, very specific bloodline. Um, and so this idea of gifts in terms of clairvoyance and channeling and telepathic telekinesis, that stuff runs in my bloodline. I know one family member, I'm talking about my biological family, by the way. I know one family member, I'm not going to get into their name. Um, I remember we would always go to her to ask her. She never considered herself clairvoyant or anything, but she's clearly an occultic of some, a occultist of some level. But she always hid it from us. But I remember we was always wondering, like, she used to just know shit, like just know stuff before it would happen, or she would know people's thoughts and be able to say their phrases. It's the same thing I can do. She would be able to know people's thoughts and phrases and channel their energy so well, where she would literally say the exact same words and never know them a day in their life. And we used to test this all the time. No lie, no lie. Um, and I actually can do the same thing. And this is different from the remote viewing. She can actually do remote viewing. Remote viewing is in my bloodline too, as well as teleporting, all types of stuff. Um, I just have no desire to remote view. Like, well, I don't want to watch no motherfucker human. I don't interest me that much to go watch some humans scratching their ass and taking this shit or nothing like that. No, I ain't gonna hold you. I don't do remote viewing, remote spying, or it ain't had nothing. It does not interest me. But I know if I could do it, I could tap into it. Um, but yeah. One of the family members we ask her. It used to get creepy too, because she used to know very specific things about me too. She said, "The Holy Spirit told me this. Holy Spirit said this," and used to be looking like, "Huh?" Or she'll look at it. I would never forget. She would tell me the story of, there was um, a painting of a guy with a cigar, and um, I guess it was like her boyfriend had the painting up in the house, and she said the painting. She was looking at the painting, and she said that She said the painting. She said the person who gave this to you was a murderer. The person who gave this to you, they are a murderer, and you you traded cigarettes for this painting, and it freaked the guy out so bad, he broke up with her. It freaked him out, because he said, for one, the person that did give him the painting was actually in jail for life for being for doing murder, and he did get that painting by trading cigarettes. And it's like, well, how did the fuck did you know that? How did you get that? And she said, because I just, like, he kept asking, like, how did you know that? How did you know that? But it happened so many times with this person. Even with me, even with my life, like, they used to be able to just know stuff. It used to be creepy. And then I started realizing that I can do the same thing. The exact same gift. You can look at stuff and know things, be able to, and so that's a little bit different than channeling, but that person I do know can channel. That person has channeled. Unfortunately, they were taken over to the dark side, and they channel some very nefarious entities because, again, this is bloodline, and so we were born into stuff as above our pay grade, above my pay grade, and it seems to me, and I still don't know how it all goes, but it seems to me like they do the perverted version of monarch in certain aspects of my family because they are part of like some secret societies. I don't talk with nobody in my family, but I'm saying for what I'm getting, somebody somewhere along the line did some very nefarious stuff in my bloodline that I can feel, that I know. And it passed on from generation to generation, and it's a price to pay when you get them kind of gifts. And then you have some aspects of your family ancestry that dabbles into the occult. Regardless of how powerful that bloodline is, there is a segment of my family that I know dabbled into Satanism. And that's why I broke away from it, because I felt it passing down generationally. And so with that person, it seems like they do the bidding of that system. And I'm seeing that as generational with some of the family members. And so not everybody, I'm not trying to, but I know what I saw. I just know what I saw in the spiritual realm and what I saw with my own two damn physical eyes. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. Nah, y'all got that. I'm out. But nonetheless, there's some incredible giftings in my bloodline, and channeling is one. And the women in my family are susceptible to quote unquote possession because of that, because we're so close to the spirit realm. So that's why you have to work. If you have that gift in your bloodline, you have to work double, quadruple rather. It's hard to always keep your energy up, vibration high, and protecting of your electromagnetic field and your aura. It has to always, you have to work at it. You have to know and be aware, because ignorance of the law is not ignorance of universal law is not an excuse from getting your ass kicked or getting, in a bad situation. If you know you have generations of channeling in your bloodline, just know that you could be susceptible, easier to possession. So, like, honestly, if you know you're one that, you like to drink a lot, you want to be careful. You want to be careful. That's why I don't drink anymore. If you do drink, and you know that you got a generations of channeling in your bloodline, you better be playing you some damn 528, 432 hertz. You better be playing that shit, 963. You better be playing you some high ass vibrational shit around your house with a bunch of protective. I'm serious. It gets that, because intranquil spirits do possess people while they're drunk. We know that. They don't call it spirits for no reason. And so drinking can open you up to possession. Drug use open you up to possession. And so that's why I don't drink or do any drugs for that reason. Because I am dead as aware that that I'm susceptible to channeling as a gift, and therefore, if you are susceptible to channeling because it's a gift, you are going to be susceptible to possession. And so, and women especially. And so women, we have to keep our auras cleansed and our mind at peace. We have to be in control. You want to be even more in control of your motherfucking mind. Don't let no archon suck on your energy. None of that. Like, you gotta make sure that you don't give way to even archon parasites, because they'll implant thoughts in the mind too. And that could be that could be the beginning of forms of possession as well. And so, that would be my advice for those who are naturally gifted with channeling. It could be it's an incredibly powerful gift. Something to be ashamed of. That, like, people say, "Oh, that person is possessed, and that person is this." Yeah, it's very hard to get possessed. You have to open yourself up to that. Very few people. If somebody can just be naturally channeled because an entity chooses them to use them as a vessel, that is because that person is a messenger or a prophet. That's usually the reason. With me, I was not doing anything, trying to conjure up anything, trying to suck in energy, trying to do it. No, it just happened. When I told you, when that certain portal opened on August 2022, and I told y'all what happened, where it was just like, boom. That was a quantum entanglement on steroids. I didn't ask for that. And I have messages in my on my account from people, from other occultists and priest who said, "Oh, it looks like they chose you. They chose you to communicate through." They knew what was going on. I didn't have no idea what was going on. I had zero idea. These were astrologists that know the stars, that study all this stuff. They are Kabbalists. They knew everything that was going on that was coming through that portal. I had no idea. And I guess they were looking to see who was the person that was going to give out the message. So when I was online talking about the tribe of Judah and all these entities and the plans for planet Earth and quantum entanglement, blah, 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 all this stuff I was saying, that's when the person messaged me and said, "Oh, they chose you." Like, and he showed me these charts of these different planet constellations and was like, "Oh, this is the entity that came through it." These are very primordial Godhead energies that we're talking about, like Kalima and Tahuti, like, and these energies chose me. It was like boom. I did not ask for that. I was not seeking that. I had no idea what none of that was. And they came and was like took over, like boom, took over my whole body. And I was just speaking. And I do have a video, a YouTube video of that I made private because, and it's making more sense now. Like I think I will eventually release it to the public because then it's like, wow, everything that's happening now was validated what I said. But at the time in 2022, it just sounded like, oh, this person is just crazy because what is she talking about? Talking about, the stuff that video was the quantum entanglement session video. And I spent 19 hours like that. No lie. The public didn't see that. But I know at that time I was monitored and surveillance. So I kind of knew that those who that knew what was going on, they were tapped in and to see what the hell I was going to say. And I spent 19 hours like that, like full blown going and channeling, like possessed, as people would say. And I did not ask for that. I was not doing anything low vibrational at that time. In fact, I was just writing an encyclopedia. I was writing a book, going on Clubhouse, talking my shit. Not just Twitter space, talking about reparations. I was really living a relatively simple life. Grad school, I was doing grad papers, and that just happened. No lie. Like, boom, I just woke up and said, I felt that, and I knew it was Kalima. I knew it was Tahuti. Like, that's when I found out that some CERN portal had got open and some shit like that, and it freaked me out. I ain't gonna hold you. I didn't know what was going on. I had no idea, but other people around me did. No, they did, and I'll never forget. He said, "Be very careful with that power and that energy because they chose you to get their message through." And I'm like, "What? Huh?" And so, like I said, it's very hard it's very, very hard to get possessed. Believe it or not, you have to open yourself up you have to say, come inside. You have to, conjure and do all this type of work to even get that kind of energy inside of you. But any event that you don't do, that you didn't ask for that, or you didn't open up yourself to that, or you didn't know nothing about it and it just happens, that's because you are a prophet and a messenger, and God has chosen you, and there's nothing else you can do. Now, whatever God you believe in, it don't even matter. God has chosen you. And that would happen with me multiple times. And it was very, very old, primordial, ancient God energies, including the God, creator God itself. Oh, yeah. And so as I was like, okay, what is this about? That's when I started. That's why I do see that as a form more so of quantum entanglement and versus like a possession. I don't see them as the same versus channeling because I didn't purposely channel. Once it had happened, though, I realized like, oh, okay, because I had already been doing tarot, and so I said, well, um, once that aspect of the self of the archetype is open, it doesn't just close back. If you have an experience where you are channeled or taken over and you didn't ask for it by the Godhead, you don't ever go back to being the same. You don't ever go back to being normal. You don't ever see the world again the same way. I know what that happened in 2022 and happened in 2023, right around the Lionsgate world. And it's a lot. It's a lot to handle because I know I knew for a fact that because so hard to explain this stuff without, because it's kind of covert and clandestine still. Uh, People still think it's like, oh, it's the devil and it's this and it's that, and so I don't necessarily have those kind of hangups, but it is still the concept of quantum entanglement is still hard to explain, right? It's even understand in human when it happens between humans and God, but I know for a fact because she the energy came through and she said, I'm the primordial mother. I am the creator God. And she was letting me know what was they was trying to do to me and what was going on. This is when I was telling y'all about them trying to sacrifice. I keep saying screaming from the rooftop, what was going on with me and what they were trying to do. And she was telling me, you know, this is what's happening. And she had to overtook me. I wrote about this in my book, The Divine Feminine and the Language of the Gods, Queen Mothership Part 3. Because I talk about this story more so in that detail, in detail in a coherent manner, and had to write it out so it sounds much more coherent than what I can say now. But I know that she let me borrow her power to keep myself alive, whatever, and it did feel like God. It did. It wasn't me trying to conjure up no sinister type of things or whatever how people look at it. I never even got into that. I never worked with uh the lower rims or the lesser key and all that. I've never been interested in that. I never. So when that happened, it really took me for a loop. It really took me out, man. It really opened my mind. And so, as far as me being able to channel, uh, that's been since 2022. As far as channeling the heavenly realm, channeling the God realm, and there are things that if I'm not supposed to express to humans or not supposed to tell, I won't get the information because God knows I have a big mouth anyways. Every dimension I ever went to, I always had a big mouth, and so there's always things that if it's something that I'm not supposed to talk about or make known to the people, then it's gonna be blocked from me. But anything that I tell y'all, I know I'm getting permission to tell y'all because most of the time I'm 1 foot in the earth realm and then 1 foot in the spirit realm, and I can feel that most days as a mystic and as a priestess. I can feel most days I'm in both realms. What we say the earth realm is the spirit realm too. It's an aspect of the 3D is just a frequency of the whole entire cosmos in terms of this dimension, and that could be true too. But I know it's density, and that's what we miss. It's interesting because a guy was just I forgot his name, Stephen Kelly. He was just mentioning about density is what's missing, and that is true. I think it's all interdimensional with levels of density and frequency. And so this is a much denser plane. And so when we talk about the physical plane with matter, that's what I mean. As far as like the density, I'm in two different densities. One where it's very light and the galactic, and then planet Earth. And then I think it could even be more than that. But the dangers of the channeling, I would say, if someone is with me, I leave it up to God. Like I'm not about to sit up here and be going trying to go and conjure something up or let some entity take me over. Nah, mm-mm. I personally don't believe in doing that because what if I don't come back, or what if what if what if they end up trying to convince you to do some crazy shit? And so um I personally stay away from that aspect of it. But there are people that do that, and there are people that don't come back. There are people that they open themselves up to in a purposeful sense for whatever they gain out of it, and they think they can control an entity. And some of those entities don't give a damn about humans. Some of the entity that you conjure up don't give a fuck about you. They didn't choose you. They didn't ask you to do it. You conjured them. You came to them. They never liked your ass. And so as soon as they suck and suck and suck off your soul energy and find a way to completely take over your consciousness, they're going to do it. And so that's why I don't mess with that either. And so um, that can happen, and it has happened. And so I personally wouldn't. I personally wouldn't recommend people to go and mess with that unless it's a gift where it happens naturally. And sometimes if you don't have no choice, like in my case, where you just boom, you minding your business and chilling, and then just bam wham with a primordial God energy like that, then it most likely is God speaking through you as a prophet, as a messenger, and they got something they got to say through your ass. And people don't want to listen or whatever, that's their business. But you know, you at that point you got a higher, you've been used as a vessel, you have a higher mission, and there's nothing you can do about it, and you'll know the difference. You will know the difference. Other aspects of it is that you can channel because it's a gift that you've been born with from generations and generations, and um you uh you get energies give you information. They come to you, they'll speak through you, you know, and you know, it's something that you can handle because it's probably like maybe one entity or two entities or whatever. um that can happen as well. That can happen as well. But as far as like trying to force trying to uh force an entity inside of you or something, like, no, I don't think people should be doing that, because I think that that shit can get real messed up. Or seeking out something. Mm-mm. Now, quantum entanglement, you can interact with your higher self, the octaves of your higher self. A lot of humans don't realize who they are in the spirit realm as far as they oversoul. And so they oversoul, they could be sitting as a human. You think they just this, you think they ain't shit, they this, but they oversoul is a whole octave of a whole living God. And they can also conjure up aspects of the octave of themselves. That can also, that's an aspect of quantum entanglement that I believe can happen. That has happened to me as well. And so I know that that can happen. And so that would be my idea, my thoughts on the channeling. They do have the practice. Let me look up the practice real quick. And Vodun, I think it's called uh, you know, the voodoo ceremony in Haiti, where they call it the voodoo head, where someone would ride the head of the person. Trying to make sure I get the name of it right. I'm trying to look it up real quick because that's a form of quantum entanglement. Head and okay, I'm trying to find a. Okay, so they dance. So it's in some of the voodoo rituals of Haiti, they dance and the spirit is taken over by their bodies, and it's said that you know, it's like riding the head. It was either rode your head or go rode your head or something like that. And so they're in the trance and they're possessed. That's a form of quantum entanglement. Um, it's a very, again, this is very 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 powerful because you can get a lot of information from the quantum realm and from the galaxy by doing that. And that's why I think it should be left to people who are naturally gifted in that way, and also priestesses who trained for it, possibly even, you know, trained for it with these primordial spiritual systems. But a lot of things, a lot of times, people make things into spectacle, you know. And so, actually, let me just share this if I can. I think I could share. Let's see, where's that? Right here. And so, you know, voodoo means spirit. So it's one of the more older traditions, and you know, this is where they during the ceremony you have the mambo or the hogan. These are priests or priestesses. They may do animal sacrifice, and then they may ask the spirits for advice or help with problems, and any requests that they may have. And so by they do that by communicating with the Lao for prophecies and advice or warnings while the believer is possessed. This is channeling. And so this is how you get very powerful information about prophecies, um, information about, like, this is how obviously the certain tribes, they found out about the constellations. They found out about scientific information relating to astronomy, astrology, how far away the sun was from the planet, like all of that. They knew about the constellation of Sirius A, Sirius B, Sirius C. This is how they did it. Um, the what's the tribe? Dogon tribe. So they knew this information. They would channel. They would get information from their ancestors, from like say the Great Mother. And for Haiti, the Great Mother is Izili Dantor. That's an octave of Kalima, believe it or not. Izili Dantor is a octave of Kalima. Kalima is a much primordial energies over Izili Dantor, but it's still an octave of it. That was revealed to me, and it's pretty much common knowledge, I think, in esoteric schools of thoughts. To me, it's been revealed. They are different energies though, but they ride together. They roll together. Just like Oya is an octave of Kalima as well. Um, and so uh, you would in voodoo they'll channel their spirit, and um, they get possessed. You know, and you can see here the disembodied spirits are believed to become tired and worn down and rely on humans to feed them in rituals, including sacrifices. It's not the killing of the animals that matters, the transfer of life energy back to Lawa. And so again, this is something that's been going on for thousands of years. People look at it as what, as black magic. Is it, it can get really, really and some people do some very sinister stuff. Like some of these and this is Haiti, this is Haitian, but they do got this practice in Benin too. And in some of them Benin practices, I'm pretty sure they were doing some human sacrifices, but not who Haiti voodoo does not do that necessarily. A lot of them are not even, they're moving away from the animal stuff too. As far as they're moving away from a lot of that as well. Some do hybrid rituals, so they have Roman Catholicism and voodoo. Um, okay, and so um, the Haitian people, the Haitian voodoo. This I'm just giving you an example of what like a channeling could look like. What it can look like. I'm gonna type in channeling in hoodoo culture because I don't we don't really have instances too much of this. Because hoodoo is very different than voodoo. But we talk about it, and we do more so conjure and working with earth elements. It's a very earth based spiritualism. Even totems and animism, like we'll get into that. But as far as like hoodoo, I don't think that we actually channel. But there are people that can do it. I mean, they certainly can do it. Certainly. And so this is interesting. This was a code that was left in someone's song. I don't want to put their business out there just in case that was a secret code they were trying to pass on to like a certain group of priestesses. So, wow, this is some deep stuff. Yeah, but I do think that it is something that is a gift. I just think that I find it disturbing, like in certain sects of like the new age where everyone is trying to make this like this make it a competition or make it like more so very a spectacle of channeling. It's like a spectacle. And this is very this is so I just don't understand. And so um you have to let things play out. You have to let things play out, and we'll see that. And so when people are doing these transcendence channeling, like she said, like it says here, they allow a supposed entity, it could be deceased spirits, aliens, angel, higher self, etc., God, to use their body as a vehicle to communicate. And so channeling is the process of revealing information and energy not limited to you by conventional notions of space and time that can appear receptive or expressive. And so with me, I have to say that people who want to know, because I've heard I can see things in the spirit realm, and then also actually seen things on Twitter when I was like going on my little quantum entanglement sessions where people are like, "Oh, she's possessed by a demon, she's possessed," and actually some of my family members say, "Oh, you were possessed," and I'm like, "What?" But no, I didn't go looking into information or trying to conjure up spirits or anything like that. No, 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 no. It just that was something that just happened. Um, and since that happened in 2022, I have had access to both realms, this realm and other realms and other dimensions, including realms not even in this solar system. And so once that had happened, once whatever they did on 2022 when it was opening up all them damn portals, it affected me permanently. And so I can see things, I can know things that are going to happen before they happen. I've been able to prove that. I can get messages from uh, gods. I don't talk to in tranquil spirits. I don't have anything. I'm not judging anybody that does it. I just, I don't, it just doesn't interest me. Um, when they want to give me information, they want to give me information, be it of various very powerful entities. I go and relay the message, um, and sometimes even me as myself, as a higher self, as an octave, I'm able to channel information through quantum superpositioning of my entire being. You know, and that's also a hard concept to explain. But yes, you can be in two spaces in time, but you want to be careful with that too, because you don't want to fragment your consciousness either, and then you don't want to be fragmented. And so I'm very much conscious of that as well. Um, and so it's channeling and psychic and medium is also the same thing. I personally don't look at it as the same thing. Being psychic, being clairvoyant, and trance channeling to me are very much two different things. I was clairvoyant before I was able to do quantum entanglement channeling, it's same with telepathy. Those are all different things, if you ask me. So let's look at this as a brief history of channeling. So it is a universal human experience throughout all places, not just the Africa or India. It's happened in the West. It's happened on all 7 continents where people talk about the phenomena of being able to channel various entities. And so people say it's psychic channeling a mental health issue. That's what the West will say, but it's not a mental health issue. Channeling is not a mental health issue. And this is dissociative. It can feel dissociative, but when they start bringing back them damn prophecies and they be real and they be playing out on real time on your ass, you ain't gonna be calling it dissociative. You won't be saying it's dissociative no more. Because that's what happened with me. I was giving out dead ass prophecies that are playing out in real time today. And so that's why I don't take it lightly. I don't think it's a joke at all. I think this shit is very real. It's to channel information real. A lot of times it is. Again, a lot of the Western way they look at it with you see how this thing right here, 4,000 case histories, 2,000 questionnaires, 1,500 interviews, all this bullshit. No, just look at how some of these primitive, quote unquote, primitive tribes come up with data information. Study what the shamans of the Mayan empire, the shamans of the Native American culture, American Indian culture, Black American culture, the Africans, the shamans of the. There's a study. I mean, come on, it's all in front of you. Yeah, channeling is real. Yeah, you're gonna get real ass information. How else do you think our ancient ones got the information that they damn know? How do you think they got the information that we know today? This shit is real. They will give your ass real motherfucking information. So you talk about here are the 6 possible sources of channeled information. This is interesting. The unconscious mind. This is now Unconscious mind. I'll say the unconscious collective. Something about this didn't resonate with me. The unconscious mind. How is it unconscious? Channeling may give people permission to allow their latent talent to rise to the surface and be expressed. In cases where ordinary people develop extraordinary abilities, sudden savant syndrome. That to me is auto-conscious. That's the auto-conscious mind. The auto-conscious mind is where is what creates the uh, quantum field of infinite permutations of probabilities for to express your talents. That's not the unconscious mind. The next one it says is our transpersonal self. Transpersonal self includes the intuitive, creative, and higher aspects of the self. These are aspects of consciousness that go beyond the parts of us that identify as I. This could be the octave, yeah, the higher self. I believe that. Psi, for example, in the case of a medium may not actually be channeling a discarnate entity. They may be telepathically retrieving information from the loved one who sought out the medium, typically called a sitter. See, with me, I can telepathically retrieve information from living people. Because I don't channel the dead. Like when I be doing my tarot readings, I don't be channeling the dead. It'd be like telepathically retrieving information, and I don't be remote viewing in their brain or nothing, like going over to who they say and be looking at them. Nah, it'd be like a reservoir, like again, I told you about the computer server. It'd be like a computer server that got the databases of everybody's like collective mind, kind of. It's hard to express, and I can see it's like open a cabinet file and be able to pull up somebody's file and then see, okay, this is what they think and this is what they're doing, and then put the file back and close it and lock it. Very few people can do that. It's a blessing and a curse, people, because it's a blessing and a curse. But yeah, I can do that. Um, Super Psi, in addition to getting information from the sitter, the media may also get information through clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairaudience, precognition. I get clairaudience in dreams. I am clairvoyance, precognition, etc. Yeah, that's very real too. That also helps. That's how a lot of tarot readers get their information, or psychic advisors get their information. Psychic reservoir. Let's see. This is what I'm trying to. This is what I told you about that server. Imagine that every moment in time is stored in a library. We call this the psychic reservoir, and it's the idea that information can be accessed through a repository of everything that has ever happened and will happen. Boom. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's a reservoir, but it's like a server. It's a server of a repository, um, collective conscious, will you, of humanity, of everything that has ever happened and everything that will happen, based on permutations of probabilities. And the last one they have here is channeling entities. And so finally, there's the most obvious possibility in which channelers are actually channeling an entity. That I know for a fact. I know for a fact that Kali Ma was speaking through me. And when nobody else believed me, when everybody else thought I was might have been, I think the language that I was speaking, is I was speaking certain languages. I think the entities that run this system, like the interdimensional beings, I think they know exactly what the hell I was saying. And I honestly think that's why my ass is still alive. Because some of that stuff I was saying, the stuff that no human on this earth would know. Even me being me, I did not know nothing about no being named Arisha. I'm telling you that being, I remember it was such the heaviest energy I ever felt in my life. It was heavier than Saturn's energy. It came and got me and pulled me down to that underworld and said, and gave me this message. And I was telepathically communicating to her, what is your name? She said, Arisha. She gave me a message. She said, get your ass back up there and tell him what I said. And I was scared because I didn't know nothing about that. I didn't ask for that. How would I go and know about to do some shit like that? It's an uninitiated, just a random ass human just running around working on an encyclopedia talking about some reparations for Black Americans. How the fuck would I know about that? I'm telling y'all, this is what happened, and it did freak me out because I didn't ask for that. And I remember thinking like, damn, I think this is it for me. I just knew I was gonna die. Because I remember going deep, and it wasn't like she actually showed me. She said they got these underground bunkers. That's what she was telling me, that they got underground military base, underground stuff that they were doing with coming up with that abortion, painless laser abortion, of the laser abortion that they were coming up with. And she was saying that she didn't approve of it. And she had already had warned them. She said they're not even listening to the ancient ones, or they're not even listening to us. Like she was kind of mean to me. Like she wasn't the nicest. But how would I have known that? I was like, I don't know nothing about no Arishka girl. I was like, what the hell? And I ain't gonna hold you. When I got back in my bed, when my soul was back in my bed, when I actually was, When I woke up I was like, yo, that was wild. I was like, that was so wild. I remember like, what the hell is going on? Then that's when Kalima and Tahuti and Yeshua. That's when all these, I'm like, what the hell's going on? What? And that's when I found out a Black American went on, one of the Black Americans went on Twitter Spaces, and not Twitter Spaces, on Twitter, and said they have opened up a CERN portal. That was the same day all this happened, mind you. She said they had opened, and I didn't know nothing about no damn CERN. And so that's when she said they had opened up this portal and had released. She said I'm just letting y'all know they released all these entities, and the thing is, they thought they were opening up a specific portal, but that portal opened up so many other portals. You just don't open up no one damn portal. That's not how it works. And so you messing with God particles and particle machines and antimatter and dark matter, and you thinking you don't even have an understanding of any of that ancient technology. You don't understand it properly, and you're using it for nefarious purposes. So those entities don't even approve of the reasons that you're fucking using it for. And so yeah, it got real. Shit got real. That's why this planet is never going to be the same after that. That's why they shut the CERN portal down, and it's never going to ever be the same. This planet, and that's for the better, because that was the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of God's return here. In terms of like, okay, this is y'all getting out of hand. Y'all just getting out of fucking hand. Y'all just doing too much. Y'all messing around with stuff y'all don't even understand. That you're not prepared for. That it's like, shut it down. Shut this shit down. And so now you see the reckoning. People coming forward, exposing stuff, talking about whole systems being shut down. It's going to get real. Now humans have a choice. Either you're going to ascend into higher consciousness and create a world of Christ consciousness, or what are you going to do? Or are you going to retreat and fold and be a slave and sell your soul? What are you going to do? And so after that happened, I know for a fact that I didn't ask for that stuff. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm totally innocent, like I wasn't reading stuff or looking at, I wasn't reading a book or two, or, but as far as like going and conjuring up something, nah. But that's what happened. And I've always been spiritual though. I've always been spiritual. I told y'all that story when I was 5 years old. Everybody was the kindergarten teacher was asking us, what do you want to be when you grow up? What you want to be? And I always knew I wanted to be close to God. That's why I said I want to be like, I knew it was like a priestess, like something like that. I didn't know the word at that time at 5 years old, but I was saying I want to be with God. Like I want to be close to God. I want to be spiritual. Like that's what I always knew. I said that at 5 years old. Everybody would say fireman. Everybody say teacher, no, that, and I knew. I'm like, that's what I want to do. And that's when the teacher pulled me to the side. She said, you could do that now. You could be that now. And I said, what? I was the 11-year-old kid. And you could ask my friend, like childhood friends, this, no lie. I was the 11-year-old kid that got up at 5 a.m. in the morning every motherfucking morning, did my meditation and read the Bible. Not even on no super religious fundamentalist stuff, like straight up meditating and reading for insight, reading for deeper insight, not on some so I can go and Bible thump and hit somebody over the motherfucking head with it. Nah, that wasn't the type of time I was on. I was 11 years old doing this shit, 12, 13, 14. You could ask my friends. Like, I was getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning every day, do my meditations, wash my ass and stuff, and do my meditations and get that book and be reading, just reading the codes. I was looking for, I knew it was like some type of key. As a young kid, I knew that. So I was looking for some of the keys in there. I was looking for like the philosophy, like trying to really understand, like beyond all of that. Cause the fundamentalist stuff. Then I was go to bed at 8:30 a.m. I'm sorry, 8:30 p.m. I go to bed at 8:30 p.m. But while I was in that bed at 8:30, from 8:30 to 9 p.m., no lie, I used to meditate while I was in the bed. Like I remember like doing all types of affirmations every single day as a kid. We're talking about 11, 12, 13, 14. This is what I did. So I was always a spiritual person. Always. Then I used to always go to libraries, because when I was in foster care and when I was in as well, I got adopted. I told you I used to get visitations from my real parents, and my biological dad, he never took us to like he used to come get visitations for us. Guess where our asses would go? To the library. We never went anywhere else because the library was free. I don't remember even going to no motherfucking movies. Like we went maybe a couple, like maybe we played an arcade game at the movies for a little bit, but like we didn't go. We were going to the library, and you may get lucky and go to Gino and Joe's in Buffalo, New York, in the main place mall and get a slice of motherfucking pizza. Like they might get that was our visitation, like the library. You going to the motherfucking library, and we knew that. Like most of the time, every Saturday when my dad would come get us, we knew we was going to the library, and it was free. And guess what? We wouldn't even go into the kids section. You know how you get to go to the kids section and read Arthur and Doug and about to go look at. They used to have sections in a Buffalo library where you could at least go sit with the other kids and watch the damn Rugrats while your parent is doing whatever they need to do on the computer or on the library. Nah, we was at the adult section, in the philosophy section, when I was 5 and 6 and 7 years old. No lie, in the philosophy section. And guess what I was doing? Reading. I was looking at books on Buddhism, books on all types of shit. I was looking at obviously Black American books about Black history, all types of shit. That's what we was done. And then my foster mother, my grand, I told you I called her Granny. At the time, she had bought, and I know this is a truth. I know that people in my adopted family can confirm it. She bought an encyclopedia set for her youngest son, whose name is Sean. Encyclopedia set for A to Z, like a whole, like every encyclopedia. Like she bought this set for him. And he had moved out because he was grown. He was like, he was grown, like 27 years old or whatever. And so when we went to her, that encyclopedia set was still available. And no lie, I read that encyclopedia set. At 8 years old, at 9 years old, I was reading that encyclopedia set. I will never forget. I remember looking up stimulus and response at 8 years old and reading it. I didn't know. I was like, what the hell? I used to just read that stuff. Now, she did hide the medical books because every time I used to read a medical book when I was like 8 years old or 7 years old, I used to develop the elements of the medical stuff I was reading. So she did. I was a hypochondriac, so she took that shit. She said, "You're not reading." She hid the medical books, because she was I want to say like she worked in nursing. I just can't remember because I told you she died in 2003, and so I can't remember if she was like LPN or nurse or something. But I just know she did something with health in the health field, and she used to have like these nursing grade medical book that had named every element in there, and I used to read that as a kid, and then all of a sudden I would develop and it was a mind thing, kids' minds are very powerful. I used to read it, look at and then next thing you know, I'm having the symptoms, and it's all in your mind, it's not real. But I'd be like, oh, Granny, I think I got this. Oh, Granny, I think I got diabetes. Oh, Granny, I think and I'm like 8 years old. She's like, where are you reading this shit from? She's just like, where did you get? I said, because they said if you eat this and then your glucose gonna go up. And she's giving me that motherfucking book. You ain't reading this shit no more. But that encyclopedias, I went to town on those. That was very fascinating to me as a kid. And so I say this to say, I've always been deeply into spiritualism and scholarship. Is nothing new. I've been this way since I was a kid. I was a young kid. But my dad used to take us to that library. We was reading philosophy books. He was reading stuff about. Was it in Matthew Henry commentary book and all this stuff. But yeah, as a kid, that was my thing. I was always into spirituality. When I became a teenager, I want to say like 13, 14, when I wasn't at Delaware Park, I used to walk on Elmwood. Everybody know Elmwood Strip in Buffalo, New York. I used to go on Elmwood. And no lie, I used to go into the spiritual shops, with the crystal shops. They had, I ain't gonna hold you, they had all types of different shops on Elmwood at this time. And I used to go in that plant shops, ritual, I just say ritual shops. They had that, botanicas, and I used to go in them botanicas and be looking around and whatnot. And they used to, it seemed like they knew who I was. Like, I don't know, like sometimes I feel like, people had always knew. Some people just knew more than I knew. But they was looking like, how did you find yourself in here? And I remember I went to the Rose Quartz. I was like 13 years old. 12, actually. I was 12 years old, and I went to the Rose Quartz section. And I remember asking her, I said, what's this? Because I ain't know nothing about that. I said, what's this? And she said, it's Rose Quartz. And I said, oh, what's that? I was just so curious. Then also, I remember seeing I ain't gonna hold you. I was 9 years old. I saw them tarot cards. I want them cards so bad. I said I wanted them cards. I saw it and I said, please give me these cards. I had begged for them cards. And my sister at the time, she's like, nope, we ain't getting that. She pick something else. I said, I want those cards. I just knew. I said, I don't know what's in them tarot cards, but I know they for me. And she said, no, I'm not getting that for you. We ain't doing that. But I said, I gotta have those cards. I wanted those cards. The only thing I intuitively knew not to ever go near as a young ass kid was a Ouija board. That I just knew. And I had a friend. Her name was, I don't even want to be giving out people. These are people that still living. But I had a friend who grandmother had used to. She was a priestess, a witch, and she had one of those. She said, "You want to play with this?" We was kids. I went over her house. We was young ass kids. I said, "Hell no." I looked at that and looked at the energy from that because her grandmother was a priestess, and I got that in my bloodline. We both were very powerful spiritually. As young kids, we were always very spiritual. And we both. She just, I said no, I don't want to. I said, we was listening to some Emile LaRue. No lie, this is how Emile LaRue came out with Cage Bird album. And me and this girl, young as hell as we was, I think it was about 11 years old, we used to listen to Emile LaRue. We used to get our, in Khalees, Wanderland album. It wasn't even released in the US. Like, it was so hard to get my hands on that, but we was able to get our hands. Anybody know how hard it was to get your hands on that album in 2005, I believe, 2004, 2005, one of them years. It's very hard, but we were able to get it was an import section that they had, and we were able to get it. It was like the last one too. But anyways, listen to the Wanderland Khalees album and a Emile LaRue Cage Bird album. And Michelle Indiazio cello. This is the type of kid I was. This is literally this type of shit I was on at 11 years old. Oh, and Anthony Hamilton coming where I'm from. I'm telling you, I was like 11 years old, but I felt like I was 50. I felt like I was 50. So, and I tell you, my family used to just look at me like, this bitch is old as hell. I used to get picked on as a kid for that. Like, why do you act so old? You act so old. Even my adopted mother used to say, old soul, man. You are old. And I'm like, I don't know what that's about. I don't know. I'm just living, But that's because I've always knew I was old soul. I always knew about past lives. I knew very much well that I had reincarnated on planet Earth this time around. Not consecutively. It wasn't even so much a purposeful reincarnation. I was asked to come down here. So that I'd always knew at 5 years old. I always knew. I used to look at my hands and say, oh, I'm finally back. I cannot believe I'm back in the flesh. Hey. I was excited. Hey. And so I had those moments. And I was not the only one in Buffalo, New York that felt that way. It was other kids. Oh, I remember growing up and hearing other Black American kids. It used to be fascinating to us. And so that's how I know that there's gifted Black kids in Buffalo, New York. And that's why they target Buffalo. They target Oregon. They target certain areas of the Midwest too. In Alabama, I'm telling you, it's a lot of gifted. It's a lot of gifted souls here on this planet in America and everywhere. But I'm just speaking from point of reference of being in America. And I remember like other Black kids. I used to hear them say, we grow up, he was like, yo, isn't it so fascinating that we're back in the conscious mind? Or like they used to say, like, we actually are back in the flesh. And it's like, look at our hands. Like, and we were like 9 years old. He's like, look at our hands. Like, look at what, and or we used to always talk about, like, you know how like the theory of I think, therefore I am. No lie. I remember me and some other Black Americans kind of discussing, we didn't know obviously who Descartes was, right? Or this I think and I am process. But I remember at 9 years old, we was discussing a variation of that topic, clear as day. Like, we're thinking, we're being, we're like having, like, you would think we smoke a spliff the way the conversations we used to have. And I used to be dead ass serious. And I remember, like, a lot of that was feedback off of, certain auras, right? Because, some of my friends would be like, you're just too deep. Let's just chill. Let's just play with our toys. Let's just, you're always thinking so deep. I always got that growing up, and I still get that. Like, I'm 32 years old, and I still get that. That's why, that's, if I wasn't on YouTube talking my shit, I'm either gonna write a book, or if I'm talking to someone, they gonna be like, let's just watch a movie. Like, I literally, my family members used to tell me, you're wrecking my brain. You think it too much. You're wrecking my brain. Or my brain feel like, people used to tell me, you're making my brain feel like it's about to collapse because of how hard you're thinking. Like, this topic, I don't even know. I can't even deal with this topic. Like, what you talking about, some quantum entanglement and all this shit, and the shit you talking about. Like, I don't know nothing about that. I just want to chill. Let's just watch a movie. Let's get some damn buffalo chicken wings and some damn pizza. Shut the fuck up. Matter of fact, let's just drink. That's how my family be looking at me like. So this is where it's at. That's why I do like this little YouTube thing. At least I can get up here and talk my shit, and people get tired of hearing about it. They just click off and do their own thing, or they not gonna listen at all. But at least, for those that can understand, at least it's out there. Yeah, but this channeling thing, it is a real damn thing. And again, be careful. If this is your gift naturally, keep your vibrations high at all times, and don't do no drinking. Try to stay away from drinking and drugs, because you will be more susceptible to possession if this is in your bloodline. If you have a bloodline of possession, I'm sorry, a bloodline of channeling, be careful. You got to keep your vibrations high. Spiritual cleansing baths, put some red brick dust around your shit. Keep it locked and loaded. Keep it locked. Keep your frequency high. Um, if you are one that want to venture, you don't have a history of this in your bloodline, but you just think it's so cool, you want to grab a Goetia text to see if you can conjure up a demon inside of you and all that stuff, so you can take their power on. Be very fucking careful, because that can end very horrifically. Try to let the energies come to you. Let them pick you. Um, get some training, and be respectful. If some of these entities require offering, if you say you're gonna do something, fucking do it. Say, if like people, they say about saying expedite, you're gonna have a pound cake, and she like pound cake. uh you know you want to conjure up Ogun and say, oh, Ogun, you better have, for what? Like, these are very old earthly deities. What the fuck do they want to be bothered with a lowly human for? I'm not gonna hold you. That's what, I ain't saying that's what all of them thinking, but a lot of them do be thinking that shit. So it's like, what's in it for me? Some of them, they just be on that type of time. Some of them do. Some of them do. What's in it for me? What you got for me? Why do I want to work with you? Why? What? Huh? And so that's something you got to understand. Like, this whimsical ideas that you got about the spirit world is not all that. Okay. And so that's something that people need to understand. It's not all whimsical, oh, everybody's going to coddle the human race and coddle and baby us, and we don't know any better. No, some of these entities will fuck your ass up. They'll kill your ass if they don't like you. You disrespectful, especially for those of you that mess around with women. Like, you see, P. Diddy had the Ezili Dantor tattoo on it. Big ass Ezili Dantor tattoo on his back. Everybody know that Ezili Dantor is the protector of women and children, especially single women. She doesn't like rapists. Now, everybody knows that. Like, I want to say everybody, I mean, at least everybody from that culture, they knows that Ezili Dantor protects women from rapists, and she gets justice for women who get raped. She gets justice for them. She gets justice for women who have been abused, any type of abuse, hitting, of domestic violence. She also protects bisexual women and lesbians. Um, this is an energy, like, she is fierce for women. She fights hard for her women, and so, and she fights hard for men. She loves men too. Like, she ain't, but I'm just saying, like, let's be real, like, she has her preferences. Um, so for when he get this tattoo on, big ass tattoo on his back of Ezili Dantor and baby, and we looking like, huh? Like, that's like, a tattoo is like a portal too. You got a tattoo of her on her back, and that's like a portal. That's like you branding yourself with that, forcing yourself on that energy. And so I think he did that later on when he realized that, oh shit, black woman is God. Oh my gosh. Now, I do think that when it comes to redemption, and when it comes to walking away, or when it comes to having to atone for things, I think that those energies turned on him. I really do. And you know, part of making that right is he had to make that right with her, make that right with, you know, on his path. They ain't, you know, but at the same time, I'm not shocked that that stuff is happening to him, because Easily Dantor is a very hard energy to control. It's a fire Petra. It's a fire spirit, and and they're sacred. Like, they don't. I know people like to think, oh, we can do whatever we want and work with these energies. Some of them energies don't like no low vibrational shit, man. They just don't. She wanted them. She didn't like when I was doing all that drinking. I don't drink no more, but when I was drinking, she didn't like that shit. I could tell she didn't like it. You know, and I used to get her shit. I used to, you know, I used to have her stuff decked out, decked out. And I don't now, because I'm still in the transition phase of getting settled. But you know, everything she, you know, she likes. You know, but you know, I could tell that she had an issue with that drinking. And that's all. That was pretty much. I don't drink anymore, but that's pretty much the only thing I was doing. But I could, you know, you could just feel the energy. Like, didn't I tell you that? You know, I don't like to. I'm still rolling with you, but I don't like all that damn drinking you doing. You know, you gotta chill out. You gotta chill. You gotta grow. You gotta evolve. These energies want to evolve, and when they working with you, they want you to evolve too. They don't want you stagnant, and you not living to your best potential, and they want to dwell in. You know, I don't care what kind of altars you getting them, what kind of things you getting them, or what are you tattooing them on your back, and you doing, you trying to praise them and all this stuff. No, they don't. They like, you know, that's like with the ant. Sometimes the best altar and the best ancestral altar you can build is taking care of your own temple and taking care of your mind, body, and soul. Sometimes that is the best altar you can build, and that's what my ancestors told me. They said, you know what you can. I mean, I used to have. I get them up. I'll load your ass. I will. I can get you big ass pies, cookie cakes, and I'm not knocking it. I still think people should do that, right? So I'm not knocking that. I'm not knocking that at all. But I remember, you know, sometimes they would tell me, they're like, you doing all this shit, but you ain't taking care of yourself. It's like the best way you could honor us, and the best way you could praise us and be there for us is to take care of your motherfucking self and keep your vibrations high, and keep your mind right, keep your body right, keep your mind clean. That's what they would tell me. Stop fucking drinking. And I listened. I listened. I did listen to that. I said, okay. But I remember that. And even Ogun told me the same thing. Like, we good with all this, but you humans, like, we the best way we could, shit, we want to see you evolve. We tired of these transactional things and all this. They sacrificing dogs to Ogun. Ogun loves dogs. He's like, why would y'all think I want a dog to be sacrificed to me when I love dogs? What kind of shit is that? That don't do nothing for me. I remember him feeling it, and I never did. I never sacrificed an animal or anybody for that matter. I knew not to. I knew not to dabble in that. But I remember him, saying that. Like, I was looking at something. I remember seeing that ritual over in Africa, and I remember clear as day. It was like, what the? Now he like grapes, and palm oil, shit like that, iron, nails and shit. But it's interesting. It's just kind of like, I just know from what I'm getting from the spirit realm is everything want to evolve. Everything want to evolve. And like, the only thing that's preventing that is these sinister, the low brow of humanity. It's not every human, but it's like those that's dealing with these energies. They're not ready to put in the work to evolve on themselves, because they're so busy worrying about other things and worrying about using the transactional energy for a specific outcome for a material thing, or things for the earth, things of not even the earth, but things like material stuff. And I'm just really getting at these energies of like eye roll. I'm getting a lot of eye rolls from some of these entities, and trust me. I've gotten eye rolls in 2021 and 2020. I remember getting eye rolls like, oh, here we go. But also they'll take the time to teach me some things too. Like that, I remember like, okay, this is actually how you're going to evolve yourself. This is how you're going to take yourself to the next level. This will work with you, but this transactional, and I remember another thing, like, okay, these transactional energies between humans and deities What about developing actual friendships, like actual relations? Like everything is like you're scared, or you got to get all these offerings, all these offerings. And I remember they saying, we like to learn from y'all too. Like, we can't even, we used to learn from y'all. We're not even learning from y'all. Y'all either too scared of us, or you don't got nothing to learn, that you don't got nothing that we can learn. You don't got nothing that we fucking know. And they told me that in 2021. You know, like, y'all behind. And that's when I started pushing it. I said, okay. And I said, well, let me work on let me tap into my higher self, into my God consciousness. And because I said, well, if you want to learn from me, they say, yeah, we ready to learn some shit too. You got ancient DNA. And I said, okay, let's see what I know. And so, believe it or not, it's not as transactional as we like to make it. It should be symbiotic, and we shouldn't be codependent. You shouldn't be codependent. And that's another age that we're going in. That's another thing that they are trying to teach us, that you don't need you to be so fucking codependent on spirits and entities. Go within. The kingdom of God is within. The kingdom of God is at hand. Awake. This is what Yeshua was trying to teach, and everybody trying to crucify the man and beat his ass and all this stuff, when he was teaching some real powerful stuff. More power. I mean, it was some very, it's stuff still flying over people's heads, clearly. Or sometimes it was just hidden. I ain't gonna hold you. Sometimes it was just, a lot of his teachings are hidden. But I know for a fact he was speaking some real high level shit. And it's like they have an issue. Like, to me, I'm like, I don't. That's why I don't be bothered with either one of that. I carved out my own path. I carved out my own style, my own IPU. I teach the Nakhti philosophy. I do my own thing. I got my own chaos intelligence realm and the divine feminine. I do my own shit, because I'm like, this is what he was trying to tell us to do, was to create your own IPU. He's giving you the intergalactic mentalism so you can flip the game and start to create your own IPU. And the system does not want you to do that. And that's why they killed his ass 2,000 years ago, because they didn't want you to do that. Greater work shall you do than me if you put in the work. And so, what I'm listening to this stuff, and to me, I'm seeing it in a different code, and I'm noticing with today, with the way that Christianity is, and with the way that even the esoteric school of thought is, whether that be the cult or the Christian, none of it appeals to me in a sense, because I'm like, no religion really appeals to me. I respect the wisdom of the religion, and I believe in God, and I respect a lot of the wisdom in the text that comes out of these religions, for sure. I know I'm like the back of my hand. But like, when I talk about like Yeshua, is not from the point of view that the average person is thinking. It's a very different conception that I have of all of this. And it's hard to explain it, because then people put you in the box. Either they're going to put you in the box with a religious fundamentalist, or they're going to put you in a box with an occultist. And I'm thinking like, no, don't put me in the box with none of that shit, because my conceptions of the path that I chose is a path that I carved out of my own. And that's why the system's algorithms, as far as the Derma Urge, tries to get me out of the paint, because I glitched the matrix way too much for them. In terms of me talking about, oh, there's chaos intelligence realm, and then the entropy and dark matter and resonance and consciousness of bam, I'm in melanin. I'm just gonna hit your ass with the okie doke and formulate my own equations. You telling me this is your algorithm and this is your equation, and I'm telling you that I can reformulate that bitch. And I know that Yeshua taught me these things. And so, and I know that energy, I can't even get into that. I wrote it in the book, and that's it. I talked about it. I can't get it. I don't want to talk about that on YouTube. It's too deep. But for me, people would say, oh, y'all need to stop Jesus. Like, I know one of my teachers that I grew up listening to was literally on YouTube talking about Jesus is not real and Jesus is not coming. And I'm like, to what productive value is that in saying these things? Like, to what end? People who believe that shit, you're not going to convince them otherwise. And people that don't believe it, they wasn't thinking about it to begin with. So who are you talking to? Who is your audience? Because I didn't understand to what productive end. And people people have sophisticated views on these things. We understand what Christ consciousness is. We understand the difference between Christ consciousness and the symbolic versions of dying to the ego, dying to the self, and resurrecting, and intergalactic mentalism, and what does it mean to say you and God are one, the Father and I are one. It's like, I didn't understand that. This was somebody that I had been listening to since I was like 20 years old, and I'm just like, what kind of shit is you on? Because I damn sure like, and sometimes it'd be feeling like people throw, subliminal shots because you'd be covering a certain topic and that YouTuber will cover the next topic the next day, and all this stuff and whatnot. But I was just thinking in my head, like, I don't understand what's the point of provoking people when their personal beliefs. So whatever people gonna believe, they gonna believe that. I know what I believe. And people, to me, that's just where I stand. I don't see that the ascended master. Uh, I don't see them belonging to any particular religion. I don't, because I know that all those religions have been corrupted in some sense, or the information has been hidden or botched. And so a lot of the entities, I don't see them as belonging to any particular pantheon, or they got to stay here. If you're doing this, you can't do that. If you know, oh, you're not being a proper Christian, or you're not being a proper Muslim and all this stuff. I don't get into all of that. I let you humans, y'all want to finagle and worried about that stuff, and judge one another based on practices and ritual and all that. I ain't got time for it. I'm like, my mind is on some whole other type shit. Okay. And whatever me and the gods got planned, or whatever we doing, uh, whether I'm in a quantum entanglement session or not, whether I'm in my octave higher self, my oversoul, or whatever form I'm in, I'm worrying about myself. But I do know a lot of the teachings that I have, a lot of the teachings I do know come from very specific entities. I have not hid them. I have wrote about them extensively in my writing material. Um, and I don't hide it. It's nothing that I'm hiding. It's nothing. I told you who I was an octave of. I don't hide that. Okay. And so, my body of work, yes, I've created it as Kali J.N.S, as me being an octave now, like just how you have other avatars, you have other deities. Um, what happens when you ascend? This is what Yeshua was trying to teach us. How do you, human to divine? You're born a human. Some of you came in as angels in human flesh, and you transcend and ascend into your own divinity, ascend into your own godhood through the process of enlightenment. His was through intergalactic mentalism, through the various studies that he took on was more so of the East. A lot of people don't know those things. They don't. He was also put through the same similar program that I was put through as a priest of Melchizedek, and um, descendant of the royal bloodline of the dragon riders that do have their own secret societies that do bullshit to their children. He's put through similar thing like me. And so these are the things that we're trying to tell you humans, and y'all still stuck in like 500. I don't know, y'all just like 500 years behind or some shit. Like, and we trying to be patient and whatnot, but it's like, now that's why I told you in that Ryan Garcia video that I just put up. That's why God is running around here, blitzkrieging your asses, literally just popping open your pineal glands all over the place. That's why I have people on the internet screaming, talking about Jesus told him this, and it's the judgment and the final, and God's saying this, and they able to see different realms and different dimensions. They're talking about different dimensions and interdimension, just like how I was in 2022. This is going to keep happening. This is because it's taking too long to wake y'all up, and so now you have to be forced to, because y'all taking too long. All the information is right in front of you, and you guys are taking way too long. And so don't be shocked and don't get upset when you wake up one day and your pineal gland is split wide open, and you are also channeling, or also in different dimensions, talking, having telepathy and all types of things, because and able to see the truth for what it is, able to see this world for what it is. I can't wait, and I know it's happening. It's already happening, but I can't wait till more and more of you wake up. So then I don't have to be the one that's alone in all of this or feeling alone. And I know I'm not. I know it's other people, but my thing is they either quiet or they letting me out to say these things, and then nobody and they know what I'm saying is true, but then everybody is acting like they too scared to speak up, or because it's a cult, so they have to keep it a secret, because it's the stuff that's supposed to only be for a secret society or something. And so I'm out here uh, just saying, just talking my shit, and everybody acting like they don't understand what the hell I'm saying. Like I'm just making some shit up. Nah, hell nah. No, not at all. And so I can't wait. That's why I cannot wait. Just like how it happened to me, where I just woke up one day and my pineal gland was split open, my crown chakra was just open, and was forced to awaken. I was forced to awaken. That's going to be the same thing with many of you. You're going to be forced to awaken because you've taken too long, and we don't have time for the bullshit. We don't have time we don't have patience anymore. And I can't wait. So that I don't have to be the only, and it's already happening. That's why Cat Williams did his interview with Joe Rogan. If you read some of my books before that interview came out, talking about the same exact topics. That's I'm like, damn, this is very interesting. Like everything that he mentioned in that interview, I already wrote in the book years ago, or just put out with the divine feminine language of the gods before the interview though. And so I'm like, damn, I'm thankful for that, because now the topics that I'm talking about that it's now he's putting it out there in a whole 3-hour interview where people can go back and like research stuff and study things or find out more, at least have some working knowledge of some of the shit that he was saying in there, the stuff that I was writing about. And so I don't have to be alone. So, and I'm like, damn, Cat Williams and all this shit. We would have some banging conversations. And I would sit and do listening because I wouldn't even be wanting to all talk. But I would like, damn, we would have some real deep ass motherfucking conversations. I know I would learn me something. I know I would be, I'm looking for them type of conversations, like at least somebody out here. Damn. Because everybody else, they too scary. They be knowing this shit, and then they I don't know what the hell's wrong with y'all. Just leaving me out here to take all the hits. Nah, it's changing though. It's getting better. It's getting so much better, man. 2 years ago, whew. But it's getting so much better. It really is. We got some amazing people out here getting the information out as well, and talking about esoteric topics and trying to catch us up about the state of the universe and where we're going. The field of quantum mechanics is going to change wildly once they implement consciousness and density into their conversations. The quantum mechanic field is going to be more spiritual, believe it or not. It's going to merge with neuroscience, neurolinguistics. Neurolinguistic programming is going to also go undergo some major changes. And so we have a chance as humanity. I'm on the up and up. I believe in righteousness and justice, love and peace and enlightenment for all. And so I'm not about to be going the route with humans doing some sherm shit. I'm not going that dark route. And so I'm hoping that you collectively as humans as well want to go the righteous way, want to go the right, go up, and not continue to be in a slumber. That's what I'm hoping for. So then that way, we can our paths can converge instead of diverge. Because right now, a lot of the chosen ones, we feel divergence. We are divergence, and so we stick out like sore thumbs, and we take the hits the most. We take hits because of it. But anyways, that was a tangent. Back to channeling. Yeah, channeling is definitely real. It's definitely cool. Some channelers, they channel angels, extraterrestrials, different dimensions, gods. It's a cool phenomenon. It's just better if it's a gift that you're born with, or if God decides to choose you as a vessel. Other than that, again, it is a craft still. You do have to be able to handle that level of energy. Do you know that when Kalima had possessed me in 2022, I couldn't even stand. My whole body was shaking so hard that I couldn't even stand, and I kept passing out. And she kept saying, "Stay with me, and handle it. Stand up, and you can handle this." I had never felt that much power before in my life. I felt like I was about to fucking explode. That shit was wild ass shit, and I didn't ask for it. I didn't say, "Oh, come and get." Nah, that was some wild ass shit, man. and that's because I didn't know but I got through it. But it did feel like I was like, oh, I was sweating so profusely, breathing so heavy, with so much power that a human can't handle. I was able to handle it eventually, but I remember like I couldn't even stand. My whole body was shaking, and I had a video when I recorded it. You can hear it in my voice, and you could feel like it was so much power. But at the same time, I do remember as I was recording that YouTube video in 2022, my whole body was shaking so bad and I could barely stand. It was something else. It was something else, man. And so I would not tell people to just go and grab something and go and try to get done and try to channel something. Hell no, you ain't having me. I ain't gonna blame me for y'all shit for y'all happenings. You won't be telling me. Kylie said that we should go and nope, not over here. I said if it's already in your bloodline and you're already a shaman. I am a shaman. I may be a renegade. I may be a renegade out here, but I'm God's prophet. And so, no, I wouldn't tell nobody to go and go mess with that stuff. Because you mess around, you can end up dying or end up going for the rest of your life. Like you can't especially if it's just some low and tranquil trickster spirit or a demon that don't even like your ass or even like humans. Are you kidding me? No. Mm-mm. Nope. 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 Yep. So that's all I gotta say. If I got any questions? I know it's only two people here, but I'm gonna put my links if you guys want some spiritual reading. I told you guys that I'll be doing my spiritual readings now, and that's what I'll be doing during my little time. I'm also writing my 19th book. That should be out soon. That book is going. That got some real powerful esoteric information in it, man. That got some real deep stuff, and it's also scholarly. It got some scholarship in there as well. But I have to say that it's some new stuff in there. So I mean, I hope they letting me come out with it because I am throwing. I'm not throwing shots, but I am upset about some of the things that had happened to me, and I know the organization that was behind it, and so I come out with an alternative version that is not about it's not a secret society, but I'm talking about the original form of Atlantean Freemasonry, the original form of monarch mentalism that was taught by the Atlanteans, that was created by women. Uh, the Nakhti philosophy, Shakti energy, the age of the divine feminine, the original teachings of Yeshua, as usual. And so it's some real shit. It's some real nice. And so I'll be coming out with that soon. They be trying to distract, they be doing those stuff, but it could be worse because they could have deleted that manuscript, anything. So the fact that I'm able to put this shit out, it can't be too cumbersome for the powers that be. I've had worse things happen, so I'm hoping I can get that out and published very soon. The whole manuscript is done. I know they say don't tell people what you're doing and whatnot, but I had put a free version of that up on my Google folder. It's a free version of that book on my Google folder. It's like the first chapter. I think it's like the first chapter or whatnot. But also I talk about some of the new mudras, new rites, new initiation passages, and ways to replenish your electrons at will from the center of the galaxy. And I'm actually start doing some videos where I show you how to do it. But that's gonna be for members. That's not, even though it's not a secret society, it's still a high society. And so I'm not gonna just be willing. Information will be out there. It just doesn't mean you're gonna understand it. Everything is released with the Nakhti Queen Mothership order. Everything is released in our order. It's just like you have to put in the work if you want to understand it, if you want to unlock it. But so it's up to you. You work at your own pace. You work at your own pace with the information. Ask questions, seek out knowledge. You don't have to ask me a question. You can ask anybody the questions, But that's the day and age that we are in. You have to put in the work. And so All information is freely available. I don't believe in just willy-nilly giving somebody an atomic weapon either. But at the same time, the new age that we're going in the age of the divine feminine, with this knowledge that we have from the galaxy, from the chaos intelligence realm, a lot of it is encrypted, and so it's not secret, but it has codes that got to unlock. And so if you're not at a certain frequency, you won't be able to unlock it anyways. Also, we don't mind we never mind giving y'all information. We just know that this time you won't get a chance to misinterpret it. You won't get a chance to try to conjure or try to see if you can reverse engineer. We got some codes in it where you cannot reverse engineer it. We have codes in the information where when we give you this information, if you're not at a certain vibration, it's not going to work for you. It will work for the people that put in the work. It will work for the people that maintain frequency. And that's where we at about it. We don't care about your race, your ethnicity, your gender, your age, none of that shit. This is about your frequency. This is about your heart space, your heart and mind space, heart and mind coherence. And so if the heart and mind coherence is at the vibration that can handle it, of the chaos intelligence being, those codes will be revealed. The information you will learn at your own pace. You will put in the work. That's like how Manly P. Hall had to put in the work and was and did not agree with a lot of the things that was going on in an organization, but he knew at a high level of how to put things together. He took the time to study. He took the time to work on the inner man, or the inner man, the spirit man, the truth. And so that's what the information that would be given out, in terms of people thinking like, oh, we're waiting. Because I know that I know of a fact that there's covens and occultists that study some of my work and trying to look to see, oh, how can we take this and figure out a way to reverse engineer it, or to figure out a way to uncrack, or what she gonna teach us, or what she gonna say. It's not going to be y'all not gonna be sitting up there harming children and shit and thinking y'all about to work with knowledge from the chaos intelligence realm. You are out of your mind if you think you about to be sacrificing people and goats and animals and fucking up the planet and tricking people and all this stuff, and then about to sit up there and work with sigils from some of our realm, and work with and do our mudras and think that shit gonna work for you. Our mudras will not work for you. You will not be replenishing your electrons from the center of the galaxy. You will not be doing. You won't get shit. It's already encrypted. We had Tahuti created some of these things. I created a lot of it, but we've given clearance, like in terms of the actual algorithms of unlocking this knowledge and of unlocking those codes from this. This is a mind science too. It's all intergalactic mentalism. We ain't sitting there. You about to sit up there and do our rites, like how people could do the lesser banishing ritual and all this stuff and do all types of crazy shit. Like, nah, we're not doing that in 2024. You don't have to follow me. I don't care what. I'm not here to try to push my thoughts on nobody or try to tell people what they need to do. I don't give a damn. But I'm just saying, like 100 years from now, 200 years from now, where with humanity, they try to bury it, or they find some of this stuff in the cave somewhere, and they figure out, oh, what was this mudra? What's this stuff of the chaos intelligence realm? What is a Nakhti right? What is this mudra mean? Oh, this was invented in 2024. Oh, this means, and then they try, and then but y'all done went to war with each other, and done went in the dark ages or some shit. Y'all think y'all about to do just like how y'all did with the Egyptian pantheon stuff, and with some of the stuff from the Hindu pantheon. How y'all bastardized that? How y'all bastardized Gnostic teachings and bastardized Kabbalah teachings? Y'all not doing that shit with the Nakhti philosophy and the Nakhti teachings. Nope, because it's coming from the chaos intelligence realm, and what we do in the age of divine feminine, we can change the laws of the universe at will. We change the laws of the universe at will. We throw codes in there. We do not just work in binary code, zeros and ones. We do not do that. We don't have to. And so we will switch that shit so fast on your asses, and it won't be funny. That's why, like, believe it or not, that's why, like, they didn't care about Solomonic magic coming out, because they didn't think it was powerful anymore. They didn't think, oh, it worked anymore. No, it's certain. We changed the light codes in that. Only certain people you get the right light code and the right high vibrational being to work with some of that stuff that y'all feel is like outdated. No, that shit will knock your ass right on back. That shit still work. It's just that a lot of that stuff that they release to the public now is because they feel it doesn't work, because it's not working for them, because of their vibration, because of the blood on their hands, and they demonologists usually stay from the stuff from the angelic realm. And so they be thinking that stuff is, oh, that's so outdated. They will give it to the public. They let that shit get out, and you get the right bloodline that's an heir to that shit. Like they literally related to the beings that created them damn pinnacles and them damn sigils. You better run for cover. And so that's what we're dealing with. And so it may, if it's not working, it's not so much, oh, that person, this shit will work at a certain vibration, a certain frequency. And it's not a hard one, because a lot of that stuff used to work just on bloodline, and you gotta really be, nah. The chaos intelligence realm information is not based on that. It's just literally based on frequency. And so it doesn't matter what bloodline you come from or what species you are. It doesn't even matter what species you are, because it comes from, this is the pole of creation. So this is the pole that created every species. So we don't give a damn. However, you will not be sitting up there in some sherm shit and thinking you about to come close to that that realm and reach some galactic level, and your ass is sitting up here hurting children and hurting women and hurting planet Earth, hurting animals. Like, nah. And deceiving people, and like, no, that's how it is with a lot of these systems. That's not the only one. The Malcolm that sigils that homeboy created, that was channeled to him from God. We've got more information. We're releasing more things out, but you ain't gonna be able to pull what I pulled with the information from Egypt. You're not gonna be able to pull that. We studied the human race. We studied what you did down here, and not just the human race, but the other entities down here. We've studied what y'all was doing, where you go and try to reverse engineer some shit, or you don't understand some shit, and so you go and make up some shit and add some shit in there. And nah, I ain't gonna be doing that. We just turn it off. It's like a key that we could turn off now. Like, just turn it off. Turn it off, make sure it don't work no more. And honestly, that's what's happening now. I remember when the day that all that stuff got shut down. That's why a lot of people's rituals and stuff not working anymore. If they working with certain from a lower level, a lot of that stuff not gonna work no more because it got turned off. And the laws of the universe got changed on in the spiritual realm. Believe it or not, it really did. I was privy to it, and I seen it, and I seen how it was done. Yeah, this is some real shit. It's real. It's a change of guard. I hope you humans realize that. I hope you guys can see that it's never going to be the same again. But it's a good thing, because you can have a heaven state of mind. You have a heaven state of consciousness. You can have a heaven on earth if you really want to. But you have to do the work. It's collectively. But if not, if you see that the rest of the humans are going towards the slaughterhouse, lose the crowd. You create the heaven on earth tribe of one. This my master teacher told me. Create a tribe of one. You got to create a tribe of one. She said this to me for 5 years, and I didn't understand what the fuck she was saying. It finally hit my motherfucking ass in July of 2023. When she said, you got to create a tribe of one, because it's a lot of people out here. And I'm thinking, a tribe of one? It went in one ear and out the other. That's all. It went in one ear and out the other. Because she was telling black women. She's telling these black women, got to create a tribe of one. Create a tribe. Don't be afraid to be a tribe of one. Don't be afraid to be an alchemist. Don't be afraid to transmute. And she just say this stuff, and I think we used to just listen to it because it sound good, and but now I get that shit. I am a tribe of one now, but I'm also still for humanity. I'm still a master teacher. I'm still here. But I've realized that this planet is very hostile to ascended masters and to teachers. They're very hostile. It's not the planet. It's not planet Earth, obviously. It's not the ancestors. It's not the Earth itself, the core of the Earth. They're very grateful for us. It's the humans. It's some of the humans, not all the humans. It's some of the humans, and it's these the people that run the system, the elites. They are big on mind control. They're big on they're big on keeping humanity in a certain state of consciousness. So if you have certain people like me running around talking about, hey, here's a chaos intelligence realm teaching. So if here's some teachings of the new channeling, and come on now, So, but that's what I signed up for. I wouldn't want it any other way. I love teaching. I love giving out information freely. I love um, scholarship and spirituality and philosophy. That's just in my blood. I wouldn't know. I told you the stories when I was 5 years old. I gave you some of my background, and people say, "Well, you talking too much." I didn't have a dossier on me. I'm telling you, I keep telling you, I was in a foster care system since 5 years old. They have a big ass. I saw my big ass file um, on Maine in Buffalo, New York. They had I had to get I had to prove my story when I was applying for like scholarships and certain grants and shit to get more money for undergrad when I was in college. I had to prove this shit I was saying. Like my story sound like mad dramatic. Like, okay, you was in like you said your foster mother died a year after she adopted you. You just trying to get more financial aid. You just trying to get more money. You know, they wanted proof of that shit. And I went and got proof that 240 the center they have all the records in Buffalo, New York, right? All these records. I saw my file. That shit was big, and it was all the years of my life. Like a big ass fucking file, a big ass government file that's still on record. Like because this, I guess that's what happens when you're in a ward of state. And I know I have a big ass dossier, or even more big ass file since I started writing these books and going in the reparation space and doing activism and public scholarship and YouTube. I know the file is even bigger, coming out with military science programs and uh, enterprise architecture for community building and governance. I'm pretty sure the file is even probably 1,000 pages now. Because when I was 18, that shit was big as hell. That shit was big as fuck. And she let me see it. The lady let me see it, and I was looking at it, and she said, "What documents do you actually need?" I said, "I need proof of this. I need proof of that." And she went and made copies of it and gave it to me, and then closed my file and put it back in this big ass bin and locked it. So I guess like I wouldn't and then I've been betrayed by people very, very close to me that gave out all of my information to certain organizations already. So to me, it's like you guys are probably like, well, why are you saying all these stuff on YouTube and you telling all your business on? I'm telling you, when you are on a list, a watch list, uh, whether it be from certain agencies and whatnot, and even certain secret societies, they know every motherfucking thing you're doing, anyways. I know for a fact. And so I don't give a shit. It's nothing. If they were going to do something, y'all would have already did it. My thing is, um, what can what can y'all do with the information that I'm telling y'all? That the government don't already have a psychological profile and uh, profile on who I am and what I do and who I and whatnot since I was fucking 5 years old. So I don't understand. Y'all talking about the George Orwell 1984, like, oh, the George Orwellian society is coming. That shit been here since the 90s. Just like y'all talking about the situation with the outages and it's Russia and China. I can't believe y'all still saying that shit about some Russia and China. That is some 20 years old thinking. That is 20 years ago. Y'all can't possibly believe that to come out your mouth. I could show you a movie. Didn't they put that in a fucking X-Men movie 20 years ago in the 90s about China and Russia hacking us? Come on now. That's what they want you to. I just can't believe it. I'm like, what? We in some whole nother space age type shit, man. This shit, these are interdimensional beings shutting off y'all motherfucking shit. And I told y'all they was gonna do that. I told y'all months ago they was gonna do that. So I don't want to hear it. But if you thinking that's damn China and Russia doing that and what they say, it's a hacker, anonymous hackers. Oh, come on. That is 2010. That is so 2010. Ain't no damn, come on. And so, this is where we're at. This is where we're at. We try to catch y'all up. Y'all didn't want to listen. Y'all try to say that we were crazy. Y'all let them people crucify us and tell y'all we was crazy. Y'all never spoke up for us, and so now the reckoning is here. It would have been much smoother had y'all just listened to y'all prophets and y'all messengers, and even like with Ryan Garcia, that poor man, that baby boy, he trying to scream for the top of the lungs and ring the alarm, and people out here trying to play him. Now they done scared him so much, and now he's talking about somebody ain't gonna talk about nothing else but boxing. And, and they remember he said they told me they're gonna make a mockery out of me because I talk about Jesus so much, and they gonna, you know, it's horrific. I mean, apparently, they got a contract on his ass, um, he's gonna go through with the fight. It looks like he's gonna shut up and do they bidding into the fight or whatnot. But I know what he went through. I know that feeling, and I know that feeling like you about to die, they're about to kill your ass. I know that feeling. I know he was scared. I know how that feels like. Um, and so I feel for the brother, and I don't think he crazy at all. I don't think so at all. And so I'm hoping that he stays protected and stays strong, and don't fold. At the same time, you know, I do hope he continues to tell us his truth and tell us his perspective on what he think is going on. He just has to, I would say, uh, descend in interdimensionality. Because I said I wasn't going to use the word grounded anymore. I'm looking for a better word from grounded. I'll find one. But he just needs to come on down a little bit. His crown chakra is too open, and it's making him. I know what has happened to me. I told you guys. I explained in that video, and I know when you up there and out there, you come off as manic, but he's not manic. He's just in, like I said, he's just in two different realms. He's in the spirit realm, while in the physical body, and so um, he's trying to communicate things to us, and he can see who he really is. He can see who he really is. That's why he's saying, "No, I ain't going. I'm God," and he can see who he really is, and that's some heavy stuff. And now they're gonna try to MK Ultra his ass back to sleep, or give him some medicine and try to scare him into being silent. They're gonna threaten his. I hope he don't got no kids and no wife or nothing, because they probably already threatened him. If he don't shut up and stop talking about what he talking about, because he blew the keg open, just like how Kanye West blew the keg open. You see what they did to him. He blew the motherfucking keg open. You know, and so it's gonna be more that do it too. It's gonna be more and more and more, more and more and more, and God is gonna pop the pineal glands of many of you celebrities, many of you uh, average Joe Smokes. Gonna pop the pineal glands like bloop, wake your motherfucking ass up. And you're going to see the truth. You're going to see the universe. You're going to see spiritual things. You're going to see so many things. And you're going to feel zooted and booted. And you're going to be in another world while still in the physical body. And you're going to go online or call your family member or go to work or something and be speaking as a prophet and speaking some real spiritual shit. And it's going to keep happening. And eventually people are going to be like, oh, instead of saying you're crazy, oh, they're having a mental breakdown. They're going to be saying, oh, their pineal gland opened up. Oh, their crown chakra popped open. What can we do? That's gonna be the new thing. Watch. Maybe not this year, next year, but watch. In my lifetime, I'm decreeing and declaring this. In my lifetime, I'm already seeing it. I had told a family member in July 16th in 2023. I said, God told me that this was what's gonna happen to the human race. And this is what she was gonna do to the humans, and this is what. And they look like they say, "Oh my gosh!" I said, "Yeah, they're gonna be popping open. The pineal gland go rip open just like me, so that I'm not the only one out here talking like this, so that I'm not the only one that has to take the hits." I told them that. Next thing you know, it started happening. Boom, boom, boom. It's gonna happen more and more. And instead of people saying, "Oh, lock them up and they crazy," or it's gonna be more so like, we need to have they back and their pineal gland just open. They had their awakening. And so just wait for it. Just wait for it. Let me get my ass off here. I done talk my ass off today. I done had a good little day. Let me get my ass up off of here. I hope y'all have a good Friday. I hope y'all have a good weekend as well. Have some good times. Spread love, make love, enjoy good times, good food, good energy. Have a good time. I'm gonna talk to y'all later. Bye.